Good evening, everyone. It's Rick. It is Sunday evening. It's February 10th. It's 2019. My email is rick, R-I-C-K, 0327 at me.com. It will be in the description box. You're going to send me an email if you're interested in receiving my paperwork. Um, just please keep the email as brief as you can. Okay. You know, just for child support situations. That's it. Okay. I don't do anything else. Just handling that is enough work. It's a struggle. All right. I never say this, but I don't make any guarantees with my paperwork. Okay. I don't go bragging that my paperwork will definitely get you out of this and that. I cannot make those guarantees. Okay. Because lawyers won't even give you that guarantee. And I'm not a lawyer, but I can guarantee if you get a lawyer, you're going to get screwed. Okay? You, when you receive notice that you have to appear, you have to respond. Okay? How many of you out there know this for a fact that you didn't respond, you didn't show up, and trust me, they don't forget about you. Okay? They do not forget about you. And you find out down the road, your license is suspended, your passport's suspended, you get pulled over by a cop, he runs you, next thing you know, you're in handcuffs. Okay, they will not forget about you. So you have to fight back. Okay, that's where I come in. I provide you with paperwork. Okay, and my paperwork has helped people from time to time. Okay, and when you read my paperwork, it will not be hard for you to believe that my paperwork has helped people. Okay, because there are assholes out there that just love you know running me through, checking me out and making all these claims. Oh, you never follows up. Everybody's worried about me. Want to know why? Because I have actually helped people, and I don't rape people. Okay, the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out for you, you're not out a lot of money. There are other people out there. Not only will you be screwed that you're still dealing with this, but you're going to also be without a decent amount of money, well over $500. Okay, so just trust me when I tell you I'm legit. Okay, I'm not a scumbag. Excuse my language. I'm not a fraud. I am here to help you. I try to provide you with a good video. I try to provide you with good information. Like these slides here, this took me 3 or 4 hours today in front of the computer. All right, this is not easy stuff. So even if you do not receive my paperwork, you are giving really good information. There are a lot of people out there that use my information and make their own paperwork. Great, fantastic. Okay, that's all I'm trying to do is help people, and people get my paperwork. I receive a gift. That's great. Okay. But I'm not ripping anybody off. You're getting your money's worth. Trust me when you receive my paperwork. All right. This is one, a new one. Okay, rebuttal to claim default of payments for child support debt obligation. Okay, this is just what we're doing now is we're sending paperwork directly. This is going to be notarized and sent by certified or registered mail. Registered mail if you have a name. Don't send it registered mail if you're not going to send it to an actual agent that works in the child support, because it'll be sent back and it'll just be wasting time. Okay. Um, what else do I got here? All right, here's another one. This was just made today. Rebuttal proving the undersigned claimed debtor's consent is required to contract with a state Title IV-D child support enforcement agency established under 42 U.S.C. 654, subsection 3, and then they're entered into a cooperative agreement with the court under claimed authority of 42 U.S.C. section 654, subsection 7, 45 CFR 302.34, and 45 CFR 303.107 to hold expedited proceedings under 45 CFR 303.101, but without the undersigned claimed debtor's consent to contract with the state Title 4D contractors. That's who these people are. Okay, these people that are doing this are contractors. Cannot legally hold the claimed debtor, you, in default. Okay, what is default? Default is, the term default means the failure of a borrower of a loan made under this part, make installment payment when due, or comply with any other term of the promissory note. Doesn't that sound just like a child support? Monthly payments? Huh? That's what it is, guys. Okay? So what we're doing here, by sending that in, you're letting them know that you cannot be held in default and that your consent is required. It's that simple, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so before I do that, let's see a couple of emails. All right, I like this one because he says I'm a genius. Rick, you're a genius. Well, it just says I'm a genius. Just wanted to keep you in the loop, my friend. Had court today. It went well. I should say it was a hearing to establish and order child support, and they were talking to me and being mean until I asked about the paperwork that I filed. He filed paperwork before going. The woman was being so rude until I said, well, I'm not here to talk. I just want to know, have you had time to view my paperwork? I filed, and her demeanor changed. See, what happens is, I tell you guys, it's very important that you file paperwork before showing up in court. They are expecting you to show up there unprepared so they can bamboozle you and steamroll you. By filing paperwork, you get them on the defense. Okay? She asked what they were, and I told her, and she found them. She then printed them out, looked for a second, and I started talking to the other agent sitting beside her. Once he took one look and glanced through the first affidavit, he started talking to me nicely. Much different than before. I was then asked to have a seat in the courtroom and wait for the surrogate judge to come in. While waiting, all these different agents and lawyers were coming and trying to sneak a peek at my file with the paperwork in there. When the child support agent lawyer took his first look at it, he said, and I quote, "Damn." The guys next to me started to ask what I did file. Lots of laughs. Long story short, the agent said, "Judge, the state wants to ask for more time." There you go. All right? You guys can finish and read the rest. You see that? They need more time. That means this guy walked out of there and he wasn't screwed. And now he has time to file more paperwork. Beautiful. Okay, that's 666 signs. All right? You guys can freeze that and read the rest. Beautiful. Okay. This is my man Chris. I've been dealing with Chris for a while. Another great video, Rick. I'm not worried about the other things people say. I'm supporting you 100%. You are no way a fraud. I'm pretty good on spotting frauds, and you are not one. You're a smart man, Chris. I actually went to the child support office last week. You may not believe me, but I was walking to a conference room with a worker that asked why none of my letters are being answered. I do that. I would show up at their office to get them, but I was walking by one of their offices, and 3 workers was watching your video. So I know they're watching. All right? And I believe them. So listen, I'm telling you, they're watching my videos. Okay? So, yeah, they're doing their homework. They're watching me. I believe them. He has no reason to lie to me. Okay? Child support. Hey man, thought you would like this. Me and my son's. Oh, this is a screwed up story. This is to show you guys how rotten these people are. One of my guys sent me a video today of a father whose son died 18 years ago, something like that. And these creatures, and I know from dealing with them because I got an order from a judge for them to stop. That's the video that I posted back in November 2016 that got me off child support from these people. And let me tell you something. I had to go down to the office 2 times because they even with a court order from a judge they wouldn't stop. These people are vicious. Some of them, I can't wait for the day when they end up in handcuffs. We're gonna need somebody to get them in handcuffs. Please, one of you guys, get the balls and get it done. Get some of these people arrested, please. Until they get arrested, they're gonna keep doing this. But anyway, the guy was paying child support for a dead, deceased son for a bunch of years, and then they didn't want to give him the overpayment. All right, and here's another story. He's paying child support to her. She passed away in December. I was telling DCSC about it. Gave them the death certificate. Jesus Christ, he gave them the death certificate, current court order and everything, and they still said he had to pay a monthly obligation. Even though and he now has full custody. I asked them where the money goes, and a lady I spoke with said it would go to the executor of her estate. How did she know if she has an executor? Dude, this happened to me. They just make stuff up on the phone. Okay? I've dealt with these people. I got the news involved, the media, and closed my case. That just goes to show that these people are crazy. All right, just showing you guys what people are dealing with. So this guy, it's sad. I mean, the mother of his children, of his son, is dead, and they still were making. Where was the money going if the mother's deceased? Well, we already know that the money doesn't go to the mother; it goes to the state. But still, it's supposed to stop. And even with a death certificate, these people won't stop. Okay, but with the information I have, and now that we're proving that they have absolutely no authority, we can start filing lawsuits against these people. And also these surrogate judges, they're acting under the authority of 654 subsection 7 because a cooperative agreement was made with the courts. I showed you where the child support commissioner's position was made just for that. Well, if the child support commissioner is working under 42 U.S.C. 654 subsection 7, but they're outside of District of Columbia, Virgin Islands, blah, 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 they have no jurisdiction. None. That means they could be sued. They could be sued anyway, but now they have absolutely no authority because they're operating outside of the geographical location. So this changes the game, discovering this, okay? All right. Send paperwork, child cease to desist, withholding probably 7 days later. You get an unknown private call. I have a strong, it was them being I haven't received any paperwork from them, and after sending your paperwork as well, I never received private phone calls after changing my phone. Again, quick question. So he didn't get a response. So now when they don't respond to you, the paperwork, they defaulted. Now the next move is to go to court, and you could file a writ of mandamus, as he's saying, or you could file a writ of, a notice of injunction, because they default. They're supposed to respond and rebut the laws that we're citing. All right, let's get to the slides. All right, so now you're going to notify the court and child support agency that your consent is required, and therefore they cannot hold you in default. All right, it is important that when you receive notification that you are required to appear in court, or else you will be held in default. That's what they tell you. You're going to send affidavits to child support agency. You're going to notarize them. You're going to send them by certified mail. Very important. Okay. Come on. Fucking thing. Excuse my language, guys. All right. Again, same title. You're going to send to court notice of motion affidavits, motion to dismiss, special appearance, rebuttal of the court's authority and jurisdiction, evidence that court requires your consent. Okay, these are court paperwork from me that you can file, and there's other ones you can file as well. Okay, we're notifying these people that they need your consent. See, your consent is required, and therefore, if your consent is required, they cannot hold you in default. How many of you out there have child support debts because they claimed you in default because you did not show up? They also claim that you're in default because you're not making payments. What they'll do is they'll have a hearing, claim that you had to pay X amount of dollars, and then they'll go back to a date in the past, and they'll say, let's say September 1st, 2010, and then they'll go from September, from that date until now, and add all that money and claim you all that money, going back to a date that they claim that you defaulted. But you cannot be in default unless they have your consent. All right, I'm going to show you. Okay, the same title. Instructions for filing court motions. Very important. You guys, please, one second. Very, very important. It's very important you read the instructions. The second or third email I send you when you get my paperwork is for affidavit of service. You have to serve the other party with the papers before you file. Well, they have to be en route. So that means they have to be dropped in the mail. And then you attach to the paperwork you're filing a copy of a notarized affidavit of service. A third party, a family member over 18, a friend, mailed a copy. And that's all you need, proof that you sent it. That's it. Very important. Okay? That's why I'm showing you this. Okay. Notifying court. Reasons why they need your consent. Well, they need your consent because Executive Order 12953, all right? This here is proof that you are not one of them. You're not a member of the Uniformed Services, and you're not an employee of the federal agency, because they're working off that presumption. So now you're rebutting that presumption, telling them that you're not one of them, that you're not subjected, therefore your consent is required, because if they don't have the authority, they need your consent. Okay? You guys can finish reading. A lot of you guys know, I've been talking about this for over a month now. Eventually, I'll get to the next slide. All right. Reasons why they need your consent. This is very important right here. This is very important, this next, and I want you to pay attention. Hopefully you're already paying attention. The state's participation in Title 4D program is voluntary. Their participation with the federal government is voluntary. The federal government is not saying to them, hey, state of New York, you guys have to do, you have to enforce Title 4D program. The Title 4D program is voluntary because they're receiving federal monies from the Congress. Okay? So they have to comply with federal guidelines, that's 42 U.S.C. 651 through 669, subsection B, to receive federal funds. And therefore, it is a contractual agreement between the state and the federal government. Therefore, your consent is required to contract with the state. And without your consent to a loan, you cannot be held in default. So if the state is voluntarily entering into a contract with the federal government, your consent is required for you to contract with the state. The state cannot force you into a Title 4D program when their participation is voluntary. You understand? All right, this is the case. This is the case law. It's Wehunt versus Ledbetter, the 11th Circuit of the Court of Appeals. Although state participation in the Social Security Act itself is mandatory, participation by a state in a Title 4D program is voluntary. It is enacted pursuant to the spending power of Congress, Case law interpretation of Congress's power to legislate pursuant to spending powers recognize that when Congress fixes terms on which it shall disperse federal money to the state, it is much in the nature of a contract. In return for federal funds, the state agrees to comply with federally imposed conditions, which are 42 U.S.C. 651 through 669. You understand? It's a contract. Consent. Anytime there's a contract, you need consent. You need a willing party. Okay? State must create a separate unit to administer Title 4D plan under 42 U.S.C. 654 subsection 3 and to disperse the collected funds. Okay? Here's another thing, guys. Expedited processes cannot be practiced outside of District of Columbia, blah, blah, blah. Very important. So that's another reason why they need your consent. Cooperative agreement under 42 U.S.C. 654-7. That is the child support agency, the state agency, entering into an agreement with the courts, contractors. Therefore, they need your consent. Cooperative agreement, 45 CFR, they need your consent. They need your consent. All are not enforceable outside of District of Columbia. Okay? That also goes for under the cooperative agreement where the surrogate judge positions are created. That means that those positions have no authority to enforce Title 4D outside of District of Columbia, if they're allowed to, which we're saying they're not. Okay? State agency not within the District of Columbia, that means the state agency is not a Title 4D agency. They're just an agency created to, and they're running the show as a Title 4D agency and collecting money, but they're not within the District of Columbia. So they have no authority to collect your money, then to disperse it. They need your consent. Okay? State plan for child support under 42 U.S.C. section 64 is applicable only. Here's another big thing I discovered the other day. Okay? Here's the thing, guys. Remember, 42 U.S.C. is for welfare and health plan. Okay? Right here. Receiving child health assistance. So that means if your child is not receiving child health assistance, all right, they're not entitled to child support. You understand? Therefore, your consent is needed. You understand? Okay? For all the reasons given is why your consent is given. Yes, it is right here. 42 U.S.C. is public health and welfare. That's what 42 U.S.C. is created for. Public health and welfare. Most of the requirements under the state plan, all the definitions, has to do with children receiving health benefits. I thought it was for child support. No, what they're doing is they're using the separate unit that they're creating on the 42 U.S.C. 654. They're using it for child support collection, but it's really supposed to be for aiding children receiving health benefits, as I just showed you back here. Child health assistance under 42 U.S.C. 1397. This is the definition. For purposes of this subchapter, the term child health assistance means payment for part or all of the cost of health benefits coverage for targeted low-income children. That includes any of the following. Includes whatever, okay? So then again, if your child is not receiving, how many of you out there, your children are covered under your plan? They have absolutely no authority to do this. It's all presumptions, and we're rebutting the presumptions, and by rebutting the presumptions, we're proving that you cannot be held in default and your consent is required. Okay, guys? All right, hopefully you understand that. So what you're going to do is before they notify you to show up, you're going to notify them that you cannot be held in default. You're going to also file court paperwork stating the same thing. I have that. Okay? And what you could do is then you could show up and keep your mouth shut, or you cannot show up. If you want to take, you could take that chance. Because here's the thing, guys, they still are going to have to, you filing court paperwork and then not showing up, they cannot hold you in default because you did respond. By keeping your body out of court, you're not submitting to their jurisdiction. You understand? They're going to have to answer that challenge. It's very, very, interesting position that we're in now. Okay? This is really kind of exciting right now. We really got them on the ropes. Okay? All of these things are happening. I just read you a couple emails. Things are moving in a really good, direction. All right. So listen, I'm gonna let you guys go. My wife's waiting. We gotta go watch Berlin Station and Counterpart. All right, and enjoy the rest of the evening. If you're interested in my paperwork, my email is rick@me.com. Have a great night.